What is going on?
What's
Ladies,
happening?
gentlemen, Gungans of all ages, how are we feeling?
Feeling
Gungans,
all right.
man.
I don't know how I feel
Nice.
being called a Gungan, but until
good.
that
We-
moment, I
Other
was
than
right
that.
there with you.
We are so excited for this episode. First off, hello YouTube. It is so good to see you guys. If you're seeing this on Instagram, then something crazy happened in the next few seconds that we have to clip. You know, you never know what's going to happen. Whoa.
Whoa.
Steven, calm down. Don't need to pull out the 9. We're just fine. But today we're talking about Celine Dion's Let's Talk About Love.
Celine freaking Dion.
So good. She is the ballad queen herself. And my heart will go on.
Let's talk about that. Oh wait, is that
Let's
copyrighted?
talk about
Oh.
love. Well, but before we get into that, let's hear something from you guys. So there's the old, it's not that old, Phineas and Ferb quote that Dr. Doofenshmirtz says, if I had a nickel for every time something happens, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. And it has become an idiom that our generation uses quite frequently. So the question that I have for you guys today is, what is your 2 nickel thing? We'll start with Jarrett.
Yeah. So I know for me, when I was in elementary school, I was a pretty good kid. And my family, especially my parents, would tell you that. My sister was young. My brother didn't exist yet, so they can't attest to this. But apparently, every year at some random time, whatever teacher I had that year would see my mom in the hallway. My mom was a dance teacher at my elementary school, by the way, I should clarify. My mom would be walking the hallway, and then whoever teacher I had would see her and just start running towards her, like super excited, and say, Jared got in trouble and I had to speak to him today. And then, would that go on her way. And that would happen at least once a year with all my teachers. And just the one time that year.
Did you actually get in trouble?
There were times, yeah, I was sinful and I acted out by something.
Don't be so hard on yourself, buddy.
Maybe we'll get my mom to make a voicemail about what I did. I don't remember.
I would love to know what elementary age Jarrett did that got in trouble. Jason or Steven, do you have one yet? I know I kind of sprung this on you right before we started recording.
You got something, Jason?
I'm trying. This is a tough one. There's so many things. I've lived such a life. Do you have one, Dan? Give me the extra time because I feel like you have. something.
I got you. I got you. Well, unless Steven, do you have one?
I guess it's a small one, but I exclusively wear just slides, especially since it's summer and I don't have to go anywhere. So I was just walking my dog, and I keep on the front of the shoe keeps on getting caught like on the pavement, and then it makes me trip when I'm trying to step forward.
Yep.
And it's really strange how often that happens in one walk. Like I'll do it like 3 times in a row, and it's like when you bite your lip a little bit, and then it swells up, and then you keep on biting it even more because it's swelled. But there wasn't actually a reason for me to keep tripping. I'm just stupid.
Dang.
Dude, you just reminded me of mine. That's amazing. Thank you,
Nice.
Steven.
Nice.
I was eating, and this is recent. This is like within the past 2 months. And I bit the middle of my tongue. But I did it twice. That's the weird thing. Not at the same meal. It was like a week apart. I've never done it before in my life. I haven't done it since. But in mid-bite, somehow my tongue got over. And when I say the middle, I mean middle back, middle dead center on the tongue. And the first
That's
time,
odd.
legit bit almost through it. I was bleeding.
Ooh.
It was not fun. I was at Chick-fil-A and I kept saying, I was like, this is bad. And my mom and my girlfriend were there and they were like, what, are you good? Like, and I like showed it to them and they were like, you were like cut. And I was like, my bad. And then like a week and a half later, I did the same thing.
Bad.
Oh man.
It's like, again, I've never bit I don't think anybody's bit the middle of their tongue before. I think I might have been the first.
I have.
No, it's really hard to do on accident.
Yeah, exactly. So
Man.
yeah, so that happened.
If you're watching
twice.
the YouTube video, everybody, count the number of times any one of us like attempts to do this now, because now it's on my mind. Now I'm like, the middle. That's crazy.
But it was like
Man.
it was my molars. It wasn't the front piece of it was my molar bit it. Yeah.
Wow.
This is how weird this is.
That's crazy.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
That's wild.
and it happened twice.
That'd be
That's the other.
It'd be hard to
weird
sing
thing.
if be hard to sing if you got your tongue cut off.
You're right. It would.
It would be
Oh,
very
it'd at least
difficult.
me a new sound.
Hey, do that again.
No,
Alright.
we got it recorded. It's there.
Okay,
It's
so-
already.
Go to the co-host title.
my-
What's yours?
My 2 nickel event or happenstance happened within the last 24 hours. I was 24 hours. No,
Yeah.
not a little bit over 24 hours now.
36.
Yeah.
I was visiting our friend Tall Man, and
Nice.
Not a
him
sponsor.
and his wife just got a new dog, and they rescued a 4-year-old boxer mix, and he's gorgeous, and he is so loving until I walked through the door. And this dog did not like me in his space. I don't know what it was. I've been house sitting and cat sitting, so maybe I've got some cat
Could be
smells on
smelling
me,
like
and
cat.
there's something that
Yeah.
just went off in this dog. But like we kind of spent some time together, went outside, and then I walked back up to their apartment with them. And as soon as we got into the apartment, this dog decided that I was a threat. And that he needed to
you're a
get
threat.
rid of me. And so it's the first time in a long time that a dog has barked at me and growled at me with bared teeth and then went to take a bite of me
Oh man.
and just missed. Like, I have a hole in my shorts from where his tooth connected. I'm not hurt. I'm whatever. Like, I'm a little shaken from it,
So,
but it is what it is. Like,
don't
I
want
was
this
in
to
his
sound
space.
insensitive, but I'm on the dog side 100% on this.
Well,
Okay,
just
thanks. Steven.
remind me never to take you with me to the movies.
If you got it.
You saying me or Steven, Jason?
You, because apparently you're
Why?
a snack, and I can't bring outside snacks.
Yo,
So-
hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We don't need to go that far. But what was weird was today, some students were getting picked up from church, and they had their dog in the car. And this dog is also a rescue. And he took one look at me, and like fur standing up on his back, like he just started barking, and the whole family was like, we have not seen him do that in a long time. And I'm like, it might be me. Like, I don't know what's going on.
It seems like something
Jason,
maybe
maybe
you're right.
about you.
Dan is no friend to
And this-
rescues.
And this is so uncommon for me. Like most people can attest, there is not an animal that I'll come across with that within 2 minutes I am not just like petting. Trying to not be weird about this. Like,
It sounds like you're just a
It's-
purebred boy. You just can't. The rescues
I guess.
in you.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I've been trying to picture what kind of snack you would be at the movie theater. And, dude, you're a brownie. Like,
I'm a
I don't know.
brownie.
Like, obviously, that's not a snack at the movie theater, but, you know.
I was about to say, when are you getting brownies at the movie theater?
No,
I would
but
think
beyond
the
movie
first
theater,
thought would be
just
Twizzlers.
snack.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah.
I would go with
But
Twizzlers.
you're just a
That's
snack
my
in general,
first
man.
thought. I'm at least a cosmic
I'm-
brownie.
Now I'm picturing
or
you as a brownie.
goobers.
So
You might be goobers.
Raisinets.
Well, either way,
Cookie
I would
dough
get
bites.
I would get any of them while watching the movie Titanic, which is
that's a good call.
one of the greatest movie. Well, maybe not great. A very well known movie that happens to have a song from our very album today.
It's one of the highest grossing movies ever, and this is one of the highest sold albums ever with 20.5 million certified, 31 million claimed album sales. Before we really dive in, as a reminder, we are now on YouTube. Everything that we have done is on YouTube except for one. All of them.
Yeah, except for The Wall. We're having some issues with that one.
We're working on it. Riverside's been great.
Still on Spotify, though.
Spotify has been great. Somebody sponsor us. That'd be great. Then we could just solve all these problems, I'm sure.
Celine Dion, if you're listening.
So you can see some of our reactions to what some of us say. Like, some of the most fun in this entire process has been getting to see these gentlemen's faces as we say things, or like, just, it's great. And it's another aspect of this podcast. It's been a blessing.
I don't know the last time I was called a gentleman. That hit me. Wow.
Well, you are a gentleman.
Thank you very much.
So before we get in, I keep saying before we get in. Anyways,
we're in it now.
Our current album ranker list, which today is going to be a weird one. I already know it. But so far it's ... Baby One More Time and Brothers in Arms in 8th, Dangerous at 7th, The Wall at 6th, which just still hurts my soul. Anyways, Born in the USA at 5, Appetite for Destruction at 4, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Supernatural tied at 2, and Abbey Road at 1. So right now, hop on to whatever, put in the comments, lock it in. What do you think it's going to be now? What do you think the ranking is going to be now with adding Celine Dion to the mix? Jarrett, how about you give us a little bit of information on the background of this album?
Yeah, so Let's Talk About Love came out November 14th, 1997, which is a great year. And this is the 15th studio album by Celine Dion. It's her 5th one that's in English, because we can get into that at a later episode. But essentially, being French-Canadian, she grew up speaking French. And then when she got older, she wanted to, make music more of a career. And so her manager was like, well, you're going to have to learn English for that. And actually seeing Michael Jackson live on the Bad Tour helped inspire her both in music taste and what she wanted in an album, and to pursue actually speaking English and singing in English. So that happened
later.
It
wasn't so bad after
English.
all.
And this Let's Talk About Love follows after her last album, which was Fall Into You. And that album, as you'll see, is a little bit higher on this list. That album, Fall Into You, really brought her into major stardom. She started, obviously gaining popularity a little bit earlier once she started singing in English. But Fall Into You was really where she started to hit it off career-wise. And so she began her career at 13 years old. She was just singing in church here and there, other local concerts. When she gets I think it was her cousin or her mom, one of her family members tapes her and sends that recording to, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I want to say Rene Ingeliou. I don't know. Steven speaks French. He could say that better than me.
Well, in a much more real way, I don't speak French, so you might be on your own. I used to be able to get by and order a biscuit or something, but I forgot all of it.
You lived in France, so I trusted you.
I did do that.
Well, anyways, we're gonna go with Renee. So Renee's her manager. Begins her career at 13, and if you go back and listen to her albums from when she's a teenager, her voice obviously ages as she gets older, but it's fairly close to where she's at right now on Let's Talk About Love. So that's pretty impressive. And the producers on this one, there's a lot, and I'm not going to say all of them because essentially, I think it was Britney Spears' album, every song has its own producer. So I will say this album includes producers such as George Martin, who produced the Beatles, who we've also talked about on this podcast, and David Foster, who produced a lot of Chicago stuff during the 80s. So those are two on this album that produced it. It was recorded in many different places around the world, which was also recorded during her album after this one, the 16th one, 11th French album, which I'm not going to have Stephen pronounce because he doesn't know how to speak French anymore. And I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I don't speak French either. But she was essentially recording two albums during this time, one in English, one in French. And this has a huge, diverse array of musicians throughout this album.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on.
Absolutely.
That's what's happening.
Wonderful. Well, Jason, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that's what's happening. That's it.
That's what's happening. As we're getting into this diverse array of musicians, Stephen, please, Beans Jr., tell us, what is this track listing? What are we listening to here?
Yes, for I am prepared to read this track listing, and I am about to do it. So, you guys got to get ready.
I'm ready. I'm locked in. Seatbelt.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Stay strapped.
Let's talk about love.
You know what? I don't know how to view the script on my phone.
Do you want a tag team? Tag team? Tag me in. Tag me in, coach.
Hey, Jason, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna tag you on this one.
Tag me. I need a hand. I need a hand. I've been tagged.
There you
All
go.
right. So starting at the top of our digital version track listing, we have The Reason, which was a European single. Second, Immortality, featuring the Bee Gees, which is another European single. Treat Her Like a Lady, with a Diana King cover, also a European single. Why, Oh Why, Love Is On the Way, Tell Him, duet with Barbra Streisand, which was a single in America. Amor Hacienda El Amor, which is just what it is. This When I Need You, Spanish. Leo Sayer cover. Miles to Go, parentheses Before I Sleep. Us. This Just a Little Bit of Love. Everyone knows it. My Heart Will Go On, which is a single here in America. Where Is the Love? Be the Man, which was a Japanese single, actually. I Hate You When I Love You, duet with Luciano Pavarotti, the English cover of Grande, Grande, Grande by Mina. And then Let's Talk About Love, and then a 17th one you won't find on the listing on Spotify if you're looking there. But To Love You More, which was on the US and Latin versions of this album. That's the only way to find this track. So you can find it. You can look it up, but it's not in this album if you're looking on Spotify. And that is our 17 tracks across this album.
Yeah. And To Love You More is it's on Spotify, but it's on like one of her greatest hits. So
yeah,
for whatever
you gotta look. You gotta find it.
You gotta search.
You gotta dig, like Jarrett did for all of us.
Dig deep.
Yeah.
Dig deep. So before we get into some of the more niche topics in this album, any first thoughts? What were your guys' overall opinions of the album?
I liked it more than I expected to.
Yeah.
I think I liked it exactly how I expected to, but I like Celine Dion. So that if that explains anything. I won't want to give it too much away because you'll hear more when we get to our favorites at the end. But
yeah,
I knew I would like precisely at least one song on the album because I'm a big Titanic fan. So
I can see that.
Some people, some guys do sports and stuff. I'm a Titanic fan.
So the real question is, Steven, do you think there was enough room on the door? Could he have
when I saw it, it seemed like he tried to climb onto the door, but it wasn't supporting his weight, and it was going to sink if they were both on it. So I personally I think that he would not have been able to survive on that. So his
Hot take.
sacrifices, it makes sense. I think.
That's it. That's it.
Interesting.
Hot take. Hot take. That's it. Actually,
Hot take.
cold
Yeah.
take. Very,
No,
very
no.
cold, actually.
Well, speaking of takes, I'm sure. Jump into some of the lyrics and themes. What did you guys hear? You know, what were some things that stood out?
There's a lot of love songs.
A lot of love songs. A lot of love ballads. She is the queen of
Where
love
exactly
ballads.
did you come up with that one, Jarrett? What brought you to that
You know,
conclusion?
Read the album cover.
As someone who digs deeply, apparently,
Yeah.
the album title gave it away.
That would do it. 1, 2.
So it's a little, I would say it's misleading as a title. I would say it's more "Let's Sing About Love." But
Yeah.
Oh.
There are 7
interesting.
tracks with the word love in the title, including it in Spanish, amor. So if you missed that theme, I don't think we've listened to the same album.
No.
I felt
Not at all.
for as much as it did talk about love, there were a few tracks that kind of like threw me for a loop. That like
Yeah,
treat her like a lady, like yes, but also when you're like, oh, I'm listening to love songs, and then that one hits in, you're like, oh, we're
Yeah.
going this way for just
Yeah.
a few moments. So
You go from
Yeah.
like harmony rich, Bee Gees, immortality to reggae, Jamaican love
Yeah.
song,
Ska-esque.
Diana King. Like it was a lot of my impressions are off the first listen, and that first listen going from like, oh, this is a great song. This is a great song. This is different.
yeah,
You know, I don't know if I've ever heard her sing in that style, and I don't know if she ever did again.
yeah. The sequencing is a bit interesting for that.
Yeah. Any other themes? Any other lyrics that stood out? It is a lot of love. You know, not just the titles or the album name, but like a lot of love.
Yeah, I think with anyone else, I would probably think these lyrics were kind of cheesy or over the top or too like dramatic, but she's got a voice that is equally over the top and dramatic and like big, so she can totally pull it off.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
the dramatics doesn't feel forced due to
Yeah.
the way she sings, which I think is actually a really beneficial thing. Like I think a lot of people, if they tried to do this same album, they either wouldn't get it, or it would just feel like they were trying to make something that's not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were trying to like do a cover of Celine Dion.
Yes, exactly.
yeah. Yeah, I find it. It's interesting for me. Like obviously, just about every song talks about love, and 7 of them have love in the name. But I do appreciate that not every love song is like the same thing rehashed. Like you've got obviously like you're the one that I love, and there's different aspects of whatever relationship, whoever the writer is. But there's also like I hate you, then I love you, like that. That dichotomy of like, oh, I want to be in a relationship with this person, but I also hate being with this person, but I love being with them. And then like we were saying, treat her like a lady is like, dude, you're screwing up. You need to treat her better. And from the point of like, you should, if you actually love her, you should treat her like a lady, kind of thing. So it's not just all this is I, the singer, am in love with this person, and every song is about that. But it's a lot of different aspects of love and of being in a relationship. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be really boring.
Yeah. It's good. The writing's good. The themes are good. People want to love. We all want to be lovers, right? Jason?
We want to love, but we also want to hate a little bit at the same time.
Look, you called me a snack. You got me in a different mood today, Jason. You called me a snack.
A dog snack. I kind of called you kibble and bits almost.
Love me some bacon bits, man. I love bacon. I love you. You know.
I love
bacon for bacon
love bits.
Oh, meow mix.
Meow mix. Oh,
man.
Well, so yeah, the theme is love, and how she's able to convey that with lyrics is amazing. How she's able to convey that with music is awesome. One thing we talked about this with Appetite for Destruction, the range of the vocal range that Celine Dion has blows my mind. I want to talk a little bit about that, get y'all's input on that. Somewhere I saw
Rose and Celine Dion are basically the same person.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially.
Let it be known. We said it here first.
Both baritones.
And none of us disagreed.
Okay.
Yeah, the range that she has, it's just wild. Not only in vocal range, but also like musicality and genre, as we see in Treat Her Like a Lady. And all the different languages, all of the different styles, like, you know, rhythms and whatnot. It just makes sense she can pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit of celebrity bias.
Well,
like
I think
bias,
seeing her range shows a lot, because obviously most singers kind of fit in a smaller voice range. It's not the majority by any means, but I would say there's a much larger percentage of male vocals that do a larger range, just due to the fact that they have access to falsetto that women don't have. They can use whistle tone, which is a very different process, and not as common to have. And so for her to have a similarly large range is even more impressive, I would say, coming from female vocals than from
see
a
her
male
cover
user.
Sweet Child of Mine.
Honestly, I would be here for it. Can we crowd fund this?
We've got AI. We can figure this out.
No, I don't want AI. I want the real thing. I want it straight up. Can we send this to Kelly Clarkson? Get it on her show.
Man, that'd be crazy. I'm down.
Celine Dion.
Let's do it.
On the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon doing.
Oh my god,
she was on the Jimmy Fallon show. I feel like she did that. Not Guns N' Roses specifically, but I feel like she was there.
That would be incredible. Featuring the Roots doing Guns N' Roses.
So I'm looking through it at accounts of her vocal range, and somebody did the dang research. It's on a random thread on the Range Planet.
Gotta love.
And some moderator put this in. It is like every instance of highest note, lowest note.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
in
the
her
list I
career,
was
not
looking
just
at for Axl Rose.
Yeah, her highest note, and it's not just related to this album, but in 2000 or in 1995, she hit a D6, which is absurd. It's absurd, and it's yeah, a D6 is crazy.
For those of you who are listening, Jason made a stank face and brought in a little keyboard.
Yeah, for those of you that are just listening. And in 2003, in the song "Have You Ever Been in Love," or maybe I don't know, whatever, she hit a B2.
Wow,
that is lower than most tenors can sing. So, like, some men can't sing as low as she sang.
Wow.
I get it.
Whatever you're playing, we can't hear it, Jason.
Oh, it's not.
No, we
plugged
can.
in. This is not plugged into anything. This is.
He's acting like he's changing the octave on his MIDI
Completely
keyboard and
not
then
plugged
playing the
into
note and
anything.
nodding. It is
We can
comical.
hear that in post.
Oh my gosh. Any other commentary from y'all on the musicality in this album?
I was not expecting as much rock as is on this album.
Yeah.
Especially starting off with The Reason, which I mean is produced by George Martin of Beatles fame.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not in the Beatles, of course, but he produced them. But like, got a strong guitar solo in there, and then where else is it? There's just like different elements of things that like I like. Okay, this is my first time listening to Celine Dion, so my expectation was really just "My Heart Will Go On," but this was a pleasant album to get into. So it's not
Yeah,
just
no,
all ballads.
I felt, and this might move into some musical nidities, which is, we have these two terms. They're very similar things. Musicality,
They are.
We
musical
made them
nidities,
up.
all the different.
Yeah.
We're making
Yeah.
things up as we go. But I think the broad range of musical style and genre in a pop album, like you have R&B, you have some like references to like reggae type backbeats, some Afro beats, and then your just like simple rock beats piled on your expected ballads, essentially operatic sections with rich harmonies and really long extended note phrasings, and then your "My Heart Will Go On," which is like the quintessential cinematic pop type song. Like as much as it's still very much a Celine Dion pop album, there is a wide variety of things. But I think my musical nudity is less on Celine herself, but looking into a little bit of George Martin as he is on here. He's known so much um, for the Beatles, but I thought it's really interesting when you click on him and see like additional artists that he worked with. The list goes as such,
Yeah.
and I found this just funny: Celine Dion, Kenny Rogers, Yoshiki of X Japan, Gary Brooker,
Oh.
Neil Sedaka, and the King Singers, the a cappella voice ensemble. And that
Really?
just cracked me up. And then following all of those vocalists, then we have guitarist Jeff Beck and John McLaughlin and John Williams, which, if you are into how guitarists are, those are three very different guitarists in every sense of the word. And I think that is actually just so neat. One, that he goes through and produces a song like The Reason that kicks off this album, sets the tone that I think fits really well for what you're getting into with this album. While on the side, working with everything from a cappella to like classical guitar to like really good like 60s 70s rock guitar to Kenny Rogers, and then a song like The Reason. I think is wild to see his broadness, yet bringing the skill that he has in production to fit all of those different styles. And that's not even to touch on all of his work with the Beatles, which is also a band that has a very broad range of songs. So I think that was my nudity is the work of Celine Dion with all that he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go on YouTube, you can see, I don't think it's every song on the album, but there's a lot of songs where it has a behind the scenes, like when they're making it, she's in the studio working with the producer or actively tracking her voice or something to that effect. And so I'd encourage, if you're interested, you can go and find those. Obviously, like, I've come to enjoy Celine Dion, so I keep sending the guys like different things like that. And you'll probably see it on Instagram when this comes out. But it's, she's got a great voice and just is really talented, as Jason was saying, being able to both work with George Martin, but also just this variety of producers. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Were y'all able to see any of the music videos attached to this album?
Yes.
Jarrett, tell us more.
Well, I
have
seen
one,
them.
but you tell us.
Let's see, I'm trying to remember what they are. I think there's only like 4 of them. So if I remember right, we've got "Tell Him" with Barbra Streisand, "The Reason," "My Heart Will Go On," and "Immortality" with the Bee Gees are the 4.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing them. If I remember right, my favorite one to watch was probably "Immortality." Was the most entertaining for me. Because I think "The Reason" is just her singing it either like recorded live or it's in the studio. which I think I said this in the Bruce Springsteen episode. But if it's a music video and they're just like on stage singing, it doesn't like appeal to me as much because I can just watch a live video of them doing it. But I liked Immortality with the Bee Gees.
It was very good. That's the one that I watched a bunch.
Sweet. Yeah.
It like the style. It rivals like Bridgerton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If you take Celine Dion and put her in Bridgerton, it's like the same storyline as a lot of Bridgerton. Just add the Bee Gees, and she's a ghost supposedly in this. So she's like floating through a dance scene that's like Victorian era. And then the Bee Gees just show up, and they're in modern day with their modern day. It's very 90s. It's so good. That's the only one that I like wanted to watch. Like My Heart Will Go On, I've seen a million times that music video, and it's good. But this one was new to me, and I was like, I love this. This is great.
Yeah,
definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. And the Bee Gees are so good in that.
Oh yeah, I like the Bee Gees. I do wish they had a little bit more participation in Immortality. Also, like, I don't know if y'all heard this, but she almost kind of mimics the Bee Gees' voice when she's singing on that song.
Yeah,
it threw me off at first because I was like, oh, okay, this is the oldest Gibb brother.
The
lead singer who's like in falsetto.
Yeah.
You want to say Barry? It's not Barry though.
Well, this is another example. It's another example of artists changing their sound really well.
Yeah,
like we've seen that a few times now.
I think you're talking about Barry. It's either Barry or Robin.
Yeah, it is Barry.
I think it's Barry.
It is Barry.
Okay. Yeah, Barry's the main guy.
I just doubt myself sometimes.
No, I knew it because I was thinking back to that episode of the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon where he has to pretend to be Barry Gibb.
Oh my gosh!
That's how I remember things. Thank you, Fallon.
Gotcha.
Very good music video. Very good song. All right. Well, without further ado, we are going to get into the final portion of this episode, which is our favorites, our least favorites, and where this album ranks, which I still don't know where it ranks for me. So we'll see if I find out by the time we get there. So let's start with Steven. What was your least favorite?
My least favorite is actually, it's going to be a difficult one for me, but I didn't. I liked all the songs. I guess I would say my least favorite was Y.O.Y. And my reason is just because it didn't sit right with me, and I don't need a reason. So
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to say Y.O.Y. was my least favorite for this one.
Jason, what about you?
I gotta go with Treat Her Like a Lady. I
really
enjoy that song. I just find that to be the least fitting for this album.
Yeah.
And maybe it would work somewhere else. It took me for a loop, and it was not a loop I wanted to go on again. And it's nothing. I don't think it's anything against that song. I think it's just here in this album. Just didn't do it for me. Didn't do it for me this time.
Sure.
Man. So, Jarrett, what about you?
It's been a weird journey with this one, man.
Yeah.
So this is Celine Dion.
If you've been following us, we've had a bit of a break before this one came out after Guns N' Roses. So when I first listened to this album, my least favorite was Treat Her Like a Lady. And then right before we went on break, my least favorite was Just a Little Bit of Love.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as of this recording, my least favorite is Y.O.Y. And I actually do have a reason, is because I always forget that it's there. Like, I listen to it. I now own this album. And every time, like, I've listened to it, I'm like, oh yeah, this song. How does this go? And then we get the why, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's this one.
Especially after something as memorable as Treat Her Like a Lady.
Yeah, I think it's just generic 90s sounding, which is also why I didn't care for Just a Little Bit of Love.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same there. But yeah. So Y.O.Y. for me.
Those two were my least favorite as well. I had to go with Y.O.Y. also. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Oh, why?
Well, same order. Steven, what was your favorite from this album?
This one might throw you for a loop here, but My Heart Will Go On
Really?
was
Oh.
my number one favorite, and it just
Wow.
has a special place in my heart
In your heart?
because
Okay,
I didn't watch Titanic until I was like 18, so I could really tell what's going on. I wasn't like a kid, like so. I was smart when I watched it, but
So you're a big Tin Whistle fan.
What is that? What?
It's the instrument.
It's the flute.
It's the thing.
Oh, I see. I don't know. I didn't know the name there. I just like how it sounds. But yeah, I'm a big fan of tin whistles or whatever you said.
Or penny whistle. So either way.
Penny
Penny
Whistle.
Whistle also.
Only costs a penny.
Jason, what about you?
So, okay, I got a lame one, but I more just wanted to get into our Spotify playlist. Amor Hacienda el Amor is probably my
so
favorite. There's something about it. It's I think it's literally just the language. They just rip my heart out when I don't know what they're saying. There's something about that just it holds me there.
That's
but
why Santana's so high for you.
No, there's something I think also sucky thing about English is like rhyming is hard, where a lot of languages it is not so much, and so the words like naturally flow in a musical style when you're using a language that has endings that mean things.
Genuinely, it never occurred to me that rhyming is hard in English, as opposed to other languages. That's news to me.
Learn something new every day.
It depends on the language.
Because we're so accustomed to
every
Dr.
language.
Seuss.
Sure.
But most romance languages essentially already rhyme. So
Sometimes I rhyme by accident. It doesn't seem very difficult.
No.
Let's move
Here I
on.
was waiting for you to rhyme with accident. Like,
thought you were gonna rhyme with accident. I was waiting for it.
No, I'm not going to give that to you.
yeah.
Too on the nose.
I guess
right,
that's just how it goes.
Oh. He's a poet.
We should move on, I suppose.
The poet
Jarrett,
doesn't even know that he rhymed those words.
Jarrett, what's your favorite from this album?
Dude, I gotta say, from the first time I listened to this album and to the last time I listened to this album, which was 2 hours ago-ish, it's still the same thing. It is The Reason.
Yeah, that's a fire
It-
song.
It's good.
As
Good.
soon as I started listening to this when I was at the airport like a month ago, and I was just like had it as background noise, and then we got to the chorus, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is rocking it. What? And like sometimes I'll just sing it in the car by myself when there's nothing else, like it's just silent, or if I'm at home by myself, I'm just like singing the chorus in my Axl Rose falsetto, which is not as good as his because I don't practice being up there that much. But for Celine, I would go up there. But,
Very nice.
Anything for Celine.
For Celine. Oh my gosh.
yeah, she and I are tight, so I'll hit that D5, D6.
Woo.
Jeez.
Please don't try a D6. You're not going to get there.
Don't.
Yeah,
You're not built that way.
Dan.
I know.
He's still not that guy, but
Still not that guy.
what was your favorite?
My favorite, it was between a few because The Reason was so good. Hacienda el Amor, like it was so good. Even there was a point at which Treat Her Like a Lady, I was like, I'm bumping with this. But
Yeah,
from the
surprisingly,
as many of you have heard before, my first impressions usually drive my thought process, and I get cemented in a lot of my first impressions. And I was absolutely blown away by Immortality. That it has to be my favorite. The
just doesn't
melody,
die.
it just doesn't die. Oh my gosh, it will. Like, my heart might go on, but I will live on because of Immortality. You know, like it.
And then preach.
It, it was so good. I was playing a game, and it was a game that I hadn't finished the storyline for a long time. It was Ghost of Tsushima, and I hadn't finished the story of that for a long time. Like, I got through the first 2 parts of it, and I was like, well, I just got to clear everything and like do all the side missions and all that stuff before I finish it. I was on the last battle in Ghost of Tsushima, and that song came on, and I had to pause the game. If you look up gameplay of this game, and the final thing is like you're just constantly fighting, constantly going on to the next thing, and you keep feeling like you're really close to the end. And I had to pause because of that song.
That's crazy.
Like, I gotta enjoy this for a moment. Hold on.
I just finished that like a month ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's so
That's
good.
Crazy. You had to stop there.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Those are
our favorites. Again, all of these favorites are on our Spotify. It's in a playlist on Spotify that's in our bio.
Yes.
I see a note in here. I'm going to let one of you guys describe what this is.
Well, it's a note about in the meanwhile, between episodes, we're gonna start posting some more memes. I got a few in the chamber. I have not posted them out yet. They will get out there. I'm already picturing one though of a movie counter, and it just have Dan's head in the counter, like under the glass. Just no context. So just know.
Maybe
just
a brownie.
Ready. It's coming up. But
I don't Jared, we're gonna have to talk after we're done recording. I don't understand.
I'm just saying right now,
because you're Daniel Brown.
Oh, sure.
The biggest teaser I can get for you is one of my favorite memes of all time was one we created a couple weeks ago, and it's about Santana. And that's all you need to know. It'll come up. You'll see it.
No.
It'll make your day. That's all I can say.
Oh, it's so good.
Let's leave that there, and let's get on to our album ranker.
Yep.
Dan, tell us the things. What do we need to know?
So we'll go through it again. At number 8, ... Baby One More Time and Brothers in Arms. At number 7, Dangerous. At number 6, The Wall. At number 5, Born in the USA. At number 4, Appetite for Destruction. Tied for number 2 is Supernatural and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And at number 1 is Abbey Road. This has remained at the top from the beginning. From the beginning. So let's do same order. Steven, where do you have this going?
I'm going to put this below Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and above Ellipses' Baby One More Time.
Oh, man. Oh, baby.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think I liked her quite as much as you guys. She wasn't my cup of tea. She's super talented.
Not your cup of tea?
Yeah. But
So what you're saying.
All right. Jason, what do you got?
I'm going to have to throw it. I'm going to be putting it between Supernatural and Born in the USA. So just below Supernatural.
All right.
But I actually have it, as much as I was not a fan of, whatchamacallit, that one song. I can't think of names right now. Treat Her Like a Lady. The rest of the album did it for me. And not that I don't love the USA, but this album just slid right up above.
Yeah. Jarrett.
I think I agree with it's going above the USA for me.
Wow.
So you going number 3 all time in Jarrett's list.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is gonna shake up our numbers for sure.
And you know what? It's gotta be the same for me.
Yeah.
That puts it at my number 4.
So it's all above
man.
Born in the USA for 3 of us,
Wow.
but at very different places in our lists.
Yeah. Okay, so that puts it at number 5. Okay.
Okay.
Our new list is tied at 9th, Brothers in Arms and ... Baby One More Time. At number 8 is Dangerous. Skipping to tied at number 6 is Born in the USA and The Wall. At number 5 is Let's Talk About Love. Let's Talk About Love. There we go, number 5.
Yep.
Number 4, Appetite for Destruction. Tied at number 2, Supernatural and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And number 1, Abbey Road.
Ooh.
Wild.
Right.
Did I think that's where it was going to end up when we started this episode? I don't think so. I think I
don't
had
think
it a
so
bit
either.
lower, but
Yeah.
But
I was feeling like our
some of this
consensus
stuff.
was going to put it more like a 6 or a 7. I was
Yeah.
not expecting it to move up to 5.
yeah.
Crazy.
Incredible.
Well, we've got some incredible albums coming up. Our next one that we're going to talk about is Metallica by Metallica.
Woohoo!
What an
Nice.
exciting
Metallica
album.
is by
And then
Metallica? Incredible.
Somebody
Yeah.
said so. I'm just reading, okay? And then soon we will have another one of our favorite albums that the rest of us will get to listen to and discuss and tear apart. Really looking forward to it. Maybe not tear
Well,
apart.
wait.
I
We'll
don't know. The last one
announce
went
that
super well.
album next week. Or next
That's
episode.
right. But yeah.
So,
Um,
all right.
Steven, we've messed with you a bit, and that's not fair.
Right.
You have every right to be upset. You have every right to be mad. Is there anything that the people at home need to know about the situation that you're dealing with right now?
Well, first of all, I want to